Yeah, no. Oh, no. Of course. I get it. Here we go. Get ready. In 3, 2, 1. Yeah! All right. Yes. Okay, good. You're going to be hired. All right. I think that's our intro right there. I don't think we need to talk anymore. You ready to go, Christina?
Okay. You are listening to the Profit First podcast.
Episode 160 with my grunting friend, Dereck. Let's go. Join me, brother.
Profits.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a good one today.
Welcome, everyone, to the Profit First podcast. I'm your co-host, Christina Bolduck.
And I'm Mike McCallum, and I'm excited again. It took 160 episodes. I found Dereck, my blood brother, my grunting compadre. And I'm joined in the studio by Kelsey Ayers.
Hey, everybody.
And, oh, by the way, I wrote a book called Profit First. It says right here, mention that book.
Oh.
I got a new book coming out, too, you know.
Do you?
I do know.
Yeah, I don't have the title yet. The working title is Streamline. Chapters are done. I'm meeting with Penguin next week to talk about it. It is, the concept is effing amazing. My job is to deliver on it. The concept is killer.
Nice.
I love all the people you're interviewing.
Yeah, I had a great interview today with Josh Patrick. The guy is, I'm interviewing literally geniuses in productivity, and it's very cerebral conversations, which you both know, there isn't much cerebralism going on.
No, stop.
Listen,
Little fisher, you.
Yeah, no, I'm so fishing. I'm always fishing for compliments. But no.
You are brilliant, I swear.
Micah, please throw grapes at me. These people are extremely smart, and it is really interesting conversations on how small business can really up level and beat big business by doing just a few simple things. So whatever, it's gonna be killer.
Yeah,
Killer.
awesome.
All right, what do you got for me, Christina?
Well, you guys can find us the usual places: iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, and of course, ProfitFirstPodcast.com, my favorite.
Yeah, you're a big listener of that one.
I am.
On your Tap, Amazon Tap.
I love my Tap.
I love that a huddle started today with the Tap playing, and I love that song. It's that country song.
I don't remember which one was playing.
It's a female singer. She talks about how she revisits a house where she grew up.
Oh, Miranda Lambert.
Oh my God, it's beautiful. I love that thing. And let's see what else I got to talk about.
Do you have a shout out for me?
Oh, I do have a shout out. That's it. I didn't load it though. So I do have a shout out. We started a whole new hotline, and I'm trying to buy time as I find it. On this hotline, the number is 844-876-7221. Dereck, you got to make sure you call that hotline too, my brother. Have you heard of that hotline?
I did. I listened to a couple of them this morning, and the hotline kind of brings that personal touch to it.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So we started this hotline. The phone number is 844-876-7221. We ask that any of our listeners listen. If you're doing Profit First, if your business has become permanently profitable, I don't care if you make $1 of profit every quarter, you are now permanently profitable. Every year, every quarter is throwing money off. We want to hear the shout out. That's a huge accomplishment. 90% of the businesses in the world, small businesses, never achieve profitability. 99.9% never achieve quarterly profitability. But we're changing that. We're eradicating entrepreneurial poverty together, and we want to hear your success. Here's the one from Emily.
Hi, my name is Emily Swihart, and my business is AE Photo Film. We're primarily wedding videographers, and since starting Profit First, I have finally been able to put money aside for taxes. I have more than enough operating expenses in my account, and we were able to actually pay ourselves enough money to personally pay off 2 credit cards, and we are now personally credit card debt-free, and this is incredible. I could not have done this on my own. I am permanently profitable.
Woo! Nice. There you go.
Awesome.
Shout out. Shout out to shout out to Emily. Congratulations. Permanent profitability.
That's awesome.
And I actually got a little chill her shouting that out. I think that
me
was,
too. I have goosebumps right now.
Yeah, well, because it's freezing in this
I know.
But it's from Emily. So, do you want to know what we've been up to, or do you have another icebreaker for us?
Next icebreaker.
Yes.
What is your favorite piece of clothing that you own? Christina's up first.
Why do I always have to go first?
Kelsey, didn't you go on the worst color? She was brown last week.
Yeah.
Okay. I went first this morning.
That's true.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. Favorite article of clothing I own, ever?
Yeah.
Or out of
ever.
I don't know. I have this one. like dress from LuLaRoe. It's like I'm
Nice,
like
yeah.
obsessed with that clothing line.
I've dresses from
It's
them
so
too. I
it's so soft.
They look very nice
But
on you.
They look great. They're perfect on you. But it's just so soft and comfy. And I realize that I hate wearing pants, so it's my favorite. Yeah.
So you like to be pantless is what boiled down to. Okay. What's your favorite?
I have this like woolen sweater. I'm not really sure where it came from initially, but it was my older sister's. And then she left it in her closet when she went to college, and I just adopted it as my own. But it's the best. It's like big, and it has like, it's from the Southwest somewhere, so it has like a Aztec design on it.
Nice.
And it's just the best, warmest, comfiest sweater ever.
Nice. My favorite thing is a Mickey Mouse T-shirt that is so battered up. I cut the sleeves off. I use it for the gym now. When
Yeah.
the gym,
Oh, yeah.
but I've had it for maybe 15 years, and it's at the point where you got about 2 more washes left before it just disintegrates.
Yeah, I
It's there
love
now.
them though.
Yeah.
Those threadbare T-shirts are the best.
Yeah, yeah.
And
it's
that's
awesome.
when you can cut it up and make it into a blanket with a bunch of your other old
We do
t-shirts.
that for my son.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
now
awesome.
he has a blanket which he wears like a cape. Of all,
He's 16.
no, my older son. Not the young goon.
He's in his 20s.
No, yeah. Oh, could you imagine Jake running around? Oh, I'm Superman. I'm Special McQuilt Man. I got to tell you about Salad Boy.
Oh, man.
and we'll do
I
real
saw
quick.
that post
So
today.
we're at an event yesterday, and I'm with this guy, and I'll say it real quickly. His name's Jeff Johnson of Technology Marketing Toolkit. We're at this conference, and there's a lunch break. We go out there, and he just starts piling on salad. I'm like, dude, what's going on? Are you Salad Boy? Well, his colleagues are there. They start calling Salad Boy. So they start calling him Salad Boy. And so instantly we turn him into a superhero because he's on this big salad kick. So we're like, he's the defender of all salad. And then and then the joke is like his, every hero has a motto, like, I am here to defend evil. He's here to toss your salad was his. I am here to toss your salad, which is totally inappropriate if you know the urban definition of that. And it just continued to go down this horrible path. And so what we did is we took a picture of his face. We put together did you get the poster printed?
I did.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
We got a poster size thing with Jeff Johnson's face as Salad Boy, defender
that's
of all
awesome.
salad.
That's excellent.
Lettuce. Yeah. No lettuce shall go uneaten or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
go
And I got-
untossed.
I got this whole other thing I want to do with that, but whatever. We'll talk about that later. Okay. All right. So let's get back to business here.
Yes.
I want to thank our corporate partners to make the show a reality.
Ooh.
They are here. I'm going to rotate around, so you guys got to pick one. You're up first, Kels.
Nextiva.
Oh, that's perfect. Nailed it.
Receipt bank.
Yep. Fundera. That leaves one more.
Fundbox.
Oh my God, you're insane. We will talk about all these wonderful companies. We thank them for their support in just a little bit. Now we're getting to the meat and potatoes. We're going to hear from a guy who's been through the Profit First process. He's actually used the pumpkin plan too. His name is Dereck Jenkins, and he joined the U.S. Army after graduating high school back in 2002. Dereck, I want to thank you for your service. He served as an EOD specialist. Christina, what does that mean?
Explosive ordnance disposal.
How'd you know that?
Because I'm
Brilliant.
a genius.
Do you have the thing in front of you, or you just knew
No.
that? Yeah, he was an EOD, which basically is the bomb squad.
That's
Sometimes I emphasize the weirdest things. Like, that's the bomb squad.
you're just so excited.
Yeah, I get so excited. He was in the bomb. Then he wraps up with the military, and he knows he's going to go on his own. He decides to start a lawn care service business back in 2013, and that's what we're going to discuss. Today he's got 3 employees, but it wasn't a simple, easy start. There were some profit challenges, but he's found a way to navigate it. So, Dereck, welcome to the show.
Welcome, Derek.
Thanks for having me on.
Do you have a favorite piece of clothing?
I was thinking about that. It's one of those pullover jackets that had the front pouch when we were teenagers.
Like a hoodie
The-
The one
sweatshirt.
with the Michael
hoodies-
Jackson face on the back?
No, not the hoodies, but the jacket one that had the. It's the
Like a
it's
windbreaker?
The bigger ones, the big fluffy ones from the 90s.
Oh, like those like poncho-y ones?
Never mind. I'm gone. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Just, it sounds amazing.
It's the
Like the hippie ones?
NFL ones.
Oh, yeah. Oh, those, when people I love those. And they would wear, like, remember the workout pants that were crazy, like those zany
Yes.
colored?
Yeah.
I would see people wear those jackets that Dereck was explaining in those pants. So, Dereck, let's go back to 2013. You're wrapping up with the military. Why did you decide to start a lawn care maintenance business?
Well, I was a contractor for the military at that point. We had just moved cross country, and they cut the contract, and then I moved down a little bit further south to do the same thing, teaching again. And I saw the contract was coming to an end, and my wife and I decided that, we're staying in, Virginia. We're not leaving. And I was like, I'm not going to get caught without a job again. So I went through and looked at several different jobs that I thought could be scalable, and landscaping was the one that was most interesting and able to be scaled. And so after a long time of writing business plans and working on my bachelor's for business administration, we just went with it. And my wife's like, hey, you got a year. See if you can make it happen. And and now we're in, we just turned our third year, and we're actually up to 7 employees.
Wow.
And
Nice.
it's, it's been a roller coaster ride, but it's something that I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Okay, so I want to discuss that roller coaster ride in a minute. First, you're in a very competitive market. I mean, you're in Chester, Virginia, which is the Richmond area, very populated area of Virginia, a beautiful area of Virginia.
Yeah.
You're going into the heartland of lawn care service. You're not the first guy there. Wasn't competition, or is competition, a major concern?
At the start, I always thought that it would be, but I found that the abundance theory is very true in the landscaping business. And starting out from day one, my goal was to be a professional company that was consistent. And a lot of times with the landscaping companies that are startups, they don't act like a big business. And so from day one, we were a big business. I acted like it, even though it was just me. I knew what I wanted to be. You don't act like you are, you act like what you want to become, and eventually you'll get there. And so from day one, we started the website being very professional. We had an employee handbook written before we even had an employee. And so those were the steps that I took to make sure that it made us stand out. And
you said that you started off with a business plan. What's the benefit of the business plan? Why do that?
It's a roadmap, and it's going to help you. If you don't have a goal, if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. And so by having a business plan and just a goal, and I've actually pulled it out recently and looked at it, and we've surpassed everything that I wanted in the first three years. And that it gives you benchmarks that you can reach and a roadmap. I mean, it really makes you think about the entire business and how it's going to work.
Okay. So I see it as a great planning document, and you said you just pulled it back out. I assume it gets shelved too for a period of time, or maybe for a long time after you had the plan in place.
Absolutely. Yeah. I found it in my desk when I was moving desks, and going back and looking at it, you can see that you start out somewhere, but you eventually you find that you pick up this book called some pumpkin plan or something, and you change the way that your model is. You change the way that your direction is going to where you're not trying to expand out everything. You're actually trying to compress into a smaller area. And the business plan initially will get you started, but you have to continually look at it and adjust it so that you can make the best of your business.
So let's talk about the pumpkin plan, and it sounds like an amazing book. But let's talk about that. What triggered you to seek out knowledge? Be it from any book. Was something not going right? Why did you look into new knowledge?
If you're not learning, you're not bettering yourself. And one of our immutable laws is growing or dying. And so, as a company and individuals in the company, we want to promote growth within the personal and the business. So I wanted to make sure that I was growing it right. I mean, there's not a lot of aspects of bomb disposal that you transfer to landscaping. So
with the dog turds. I mean,
man.
I had to go somewhere to do it. And so instead of just listening to music while I was out mowing yards, I was listening to books. It started out with podcasts, and then it went to books because the podcast didn't give deep enough information. So then I started going into different books. And I mean, I've read through, I say read. I listen to a lot of leadership books now because that's my weak spot. I started out with the E-Myth, which one of the quotes that you said in one of your books was when you asked him, do you just go full throttle into working on the business? And I believe he had a very explicit response for you.
He did.
But it really showed the process of you do need to gradually, as you're growing your business, stop working in it and start working on it so that you can make it better.
So I got to share a story with Christina and Kelsey.
Yeah.
So Michael Gerber, do you know Michael Gerber? Do you two know him?
No, I've just heard.
All right. So he wrote this book called E-Myth. E-Myth is arguably the Bible for small business systemization. And he wrote the book. I don't know, Derek, was that back in the 80s with the original and then the more recent?
Oh, yeah, it was 80s. And then he has specific ones now, even in landscaping.
Yeah, so I mean, this is around, many, many years. If it was in the 80s, it's going to be around like 30, 35 years, right? And, but it is the foundational book you must read. So everyone, including myself, idolizes Michael Gerber. Well, I did a keynote with him. We shared the stage in Mexico. This is back 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I'm backstage. I'm like, hey, it's always been an honor to read your stuff. To meet face to face blows me away. I'd love to have dinner with you. And he's like, absolutely. So me, him, and his security guard, no kidding, go to the restaurant. His security guard's guarding the door. Like, I don't know, first of all, why you need a security guard.
Could I be your security guard?
You are my security guard. You didn't know, you actually are my security guard. And so it's me and Michael Gerber. And I say, Michael, I got it. I'm writing a new book called The Pumpkin Plan, which he subsequently endorsed. I said, I got to just ask you, I think there's one thing I don't like about the E-Myth. I want to ask you about this. In the E-Myth, you say, don't work in the business, work on the business. But the interpretation is it's a switch. Like today, stop working in the business and tomorrow start working on it. I think it's more of a dial. Mm-hmm. Like you have to build toward that. What's your thought about that? And he looks me right in the eye and he goes, fuck you. Right? And which I know sounds very offensive, but it's total Michael Gerber, and it's funny. But he was also serious at the same time. And then he went on to explain why his logic's the way it is. So that's what Dereck was resorting to.
Nice.
So, I know it wasn't what he expected, but it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
In retrospect, it's very funny. And let me say, I adore Michael Gerber. He bought dinner.
Or did the security guard?
No, he actually is the security
You'll
guard.
never know.
Yeah. So, okay. So, Dereck, you start studying things to do. What was the challenge? What was the big first roadblock you faced in your business? Something maybe that you felt like, I'm not going to get past this.
It was employee development and then learning how to say no to jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was,
That's hard.
We were doing random stuff that, now I'm like, I went on a tangent this year and my new office manager, she's like, what are you talking about? And I just went on this complete tangent about we are in the maintenance business, nothing else. We're in the maintenance business. We're not picking up trash. We're not, moving plants. We're not installing them. We are right now focused on maintenance. And I kept going on this tangent for like 5 minutes to get it through my head to stop taking all these random jobs and focus on what our sweet spot is.
Yeah,
And
but listen, you're out there. If you're mowing my lawn, you can throw a plant in. Why not make the quick $50?
Well, you got to look at the long term of, okay, now I've got to go back, get the plant, get the soil to put in with it, return to the job site, and then install it. And you can't just have, if you haven't trained your guys, it's one more thing that you've got to train them on, as opposed to training them on specific tools on how to do it the same way every time, yard after yard. You're switching up what your sweet spot is. And yeah, if we know that we're going out there and it's a complete maintenance contract, and they ask us to put something in, sure, but not right then. It's got to be planned out. Next time we come, we'll bring the plant and put it in. Not, immediate.
So you're not just my grunt brother, you're my soulmate. I love that focus. That's incredible. But what about the risk of losing work? If you tell that customer, no, we're not going to do it, we are a maintenance business, you're going to start turning customers away. Is there? I assume there might be a consequence, but emotionally, that must have been tough to say that the first time, and the second, and the third time. It
is, and even now, this year, instead of trying, because we had this huge growth with one contract, we decided we're not going to take any more customers because I didn't have the right team in place. And so instead of trying to overexpand ourselves with more work and the quality of the work going down, we actually started, we haven't taken a new customer in about 3 months because we wanted to have consistency with all of our current clients, and they know that it's going to be done right at the right time.
I got you. So what I hear is by being focused, you start bringing a consistent product. I assume your reputation starts to actually improve.
When we first started saying no, and then we actually, we did some pumpkin planting and cut customers that were not as profitable. And unfortunately, it was a business aspect. We got a little bit of kickback, but at the same time, as soon as we're ready and we're wanting to, I'm going to just blast everyone with our current clients and say, hey, we need your help. We're ready to grow. We need some reviews online. And then it's going to mute out every negative comment. We had all of 3 that actually took the time to say something, but it's going to mute out all the negative comments, and it's going to show that we have a consistent base that we're going off of. Everyone's heard the term, it's cheaper to keep a client than it is to get a new one. So why not?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But what about the effect of profitability? When you started saying no to the wrong clients, it still sounds like even a wrong client brings in revenue. Did your profitability drop?
No, it increased because...
Nice.
Because we were, one of the biggest things that we did was I actually handed off about $10,000 in revenue to another landscaping company. And I told them, I was like, we're going to be centralizing in Chester so that we can provide the best service to Chester. And I told them, I was like, right now, these are the clients that I have outside of it that your area is in. And we've sent customers to him. But at the same time, he knows that, the abundance theory is there's more than enough work to go around. So by me, showing him, okay, you're still going to be a competitor, and I'm obviously going to pick which ones I send you. There's no reason that I can't help you out with your business. And in return, we get a reputation of the company is, professional. We try to benefit everyone that comes in contact with our company. That includes the employees, the clients, the suppliers, everyone.
Did that guy that you start referring business to, you sent him $10,000 of business, does he look at you and go, what's your hidden agenda, pal? He must be suspicious. No one does that.
No, because I told him up front. I told him up front that what I'm doing is I'm centralizing in Chester so that I can, so we're not driving around. But he had a lot of clients up in the other area, and I made sure to contact my clients and said, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. I've already vetted, someone else to replace us, and I want to introduce you to him. Would you like that introduction? So not only did I keep a good reputation with the customers so that if they, when we do expand out there next year again, they're going to see that we were professional already, and I can, I didn't just leave them hanging or just cut them out for no reason. I explained what we were doing so that we can become a better business.
I want to get a sense for the financial consequences to you. I can't tell right now if your business has just been doing solidly well all the time, or did you go through some financial struggles? Were there lean times in this business?
There's with the major growth that we had, we're actually just now coming out of a crisis mode for the profits and for the entire cash flow. Because the first year I was like, okay, no one wants to pay all the time, leaving cash. So one of the things we did was made it to where they could pay online. Well, nice. Some people were, when you tell a landscaper, when you have all these random landscapers, they're like, well, the last one I just left $20 underneath the mat, or I left the check in the mailbox. Yeah. I'm like, no, we don't do that. We have an online portal that you're going to get a username and password to. And then that right there just sparked wow, this is more of a professional organization than, having our guys just pick up $20 underneath. So from the get-go, we tried to make it as easy for the customer and as professional as we could.
Okay. But let's talk about the finance. You said you went through a cash crisis.
So because I think the first time I contacted you was probably about 6-7 months ago, and I said, hey, profit first, we're doing it. And you know, the first time I drew the profit, it was right at the end of the quarter, and it was like $101. And I told my wife, I was like, we're trying something different. Here's $100 for the house on top of what we normally get. And then I took that $1 and I put it behind our, you know, sign that has the first dollar we made, and I said, you know, this is the profit dollar.
Oh,
And-
dude, send us that picture.
And it's one of those things where
Send us the picture again. Did you send us the picture of that?
yeah, I sent you a picture of it. It's
Jesus,
for my,
Kelsey, you
it's for
remind
my
me this
business
stuff.
buddies.
Do we have to
Came out so fast.
Do we have it hang? I know you can't stop me. Is it hanging up on our whole wall?
I
of fame?
think it is.
It's up there.
Okay, we have the picture hanging up. Okay,
So
Okay.
it's
I gotta go
but
outside and
it's-
look at it.
It changed the way I looked at it, and then you know, I listened to the profit first and tried to get everything straight, and then you know, lo and behold, you come out with a second version of it, and the biggest thing that I got from it was, you know, I missed some key points for profit first, and one of them was when you're starting out and you have your profit account, the half that you're supposed to be taking home as profit should be going to paying off your debt,
Oh,
so
right,
that you
right.
can
Yeah.
make a bigger profit later on.
That's right, brother.
And so, you know, that's one of the things that we've been doing is we've been consolidating and making sure that we're not overspending and not, you know, just throwing money out there. We want to make sure that we're using our money appropriately and, you know, having good equipment as opposed to just crappy equipment. But at the same time, we're taking that profit that we should be taking home and putting it towards the business so that we can not kick back, not push back into the company, but paying off all the debt so that as we move forward and we expand, we have the cash to back up any emergencies. But also, once all that debt's gone, that huge payment that we've been making towards our debt is now going to be profit towards my family to where I can, you know, we can go out and do stuff. And that's you know, I tell everyone that the whole reason that we come into work is to provide better for our families.
For sure. For sure.
And so it's, you know, that was one of the biggest things that I missed in the first part was that you need to pay off your debt with that profit before you start taking a bunch of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So with your wife and your family, you bring home $100. What was your wife's impression when you had that first profit distribution? $101.
She was kind of confused because it didn't,
Sounds like one
you
of
know, she was like, what do you mean you're just taking, you know, you're taking a profit, you know, we already
Yeah.
get paid. I was like,
Yeah.
well, this is a little bit different. And she's, you know, she's got her MSW, so she's in the social work aspect of it, whereas I'm trying to expand into this business world. And it didn't, you know, she just trusts that, okay, you're doing your own lessons, you're learning, you're expanding on your own thing. I don't care about all the details. Just, you know, make sure we get a check every month, you know, every month. And you know, that's how it went. And so as we've been progressing and, you know, profits coming in, we're seeing a little bit of it, but not as much as we can once everything's paid off.
Okay, so you're using your profit appropriately to eradicate debt in the business and in any personal debt you have, right?
Correct.
Good. And that's how Profit First works. You know, our personal lives and our business is so intertwined
Right.
that's how it works. Do you feel a reward, or do you feel excited every time I mean, I know you're maintaining your debt or trying to pay it down regularly, but when the profit distribution comes out quarterly and it hits the debt even harder, how does that make you feel?
It's nice to know that eventually I won't just be putting that money towards the debt. It's nice to know that hopefully that, you know, well, eventually the payment will be going to me as opposed to, you know, the creditors. And
Right.
and it is pretty exciting to actually, you know, write that check to pay off whatever I can. And
the profit distribution, you said the first time was $101. What's your most recent profit distribution at?
right now we're adjusting all the percentages because, like I said, when your second book came out, that's when I had to adjust everything because I'm trying to figure out the taxes and everything else to adjust it. So we're trying to get around 5 to 6% in profit, but that's on top of the expansion that we've been doing and paying, and it's the profit 2.0 is what I'm calling it.
Yeah, I got you.
Nice.
But give me the cash. Like next profit distribution you take, how much you took $101 the first time? Is it going to be $110? What do you think it's going to be? I mean, you should know it's piling up in there. You know, minimal.
I mean, we've been paying out probably about $2,000 in profit.
Nice.
That's what I
Just
wanted
to,
to hear, my brother. 2 G's.
So it's getting there, but it could get better.
Oh, now he's getting cocky. The guy's
It's a
getting
good thing.
$2,000 a quarter. It's every 90 days he gets a $2,000 bonus.
Yeah.
And I know it's still going to pay a debt, Dereck, but you're right. Like you said, there's that day when the debt's gone and that full $2,000 goes into your pocket. And that's enough, for a vacation. Maybe not in Chester, Virginia, but you can go somewhere.
What would be vacation in Chester?
Chester's expensive as hell. You ever been
Who
to
lives
Chester?
there?
Oh, you do live there. It's just a staycation. It is an expensive town. Yeah, which is smart. I mean, Chester's an affluent area. I assume that means affluent customers.
We do have select areas. We're going to try to expand a little bit further north towards the east side of Richmond, and that's where it really starts getting to where you're like ridiculous lifestyles.
Yeah.
But
They just added. It used to be called Rich Man, and they just added the deeds just to make it a little more common, like Rich Man.
Yeah.
Richmond.
Yeah.
That's the story. That's the story I just made up. Okay, so with Private First, where have you struggled? Like you've implemented it, you're making a profit. Are you paying? By the way, are you paying yourself more than ever before?
I have been paying myself. I set when we started out, we knew what I was making, and we knew what we needed to make to survive. So we've always made that amount, and then going on to it, that's the amount that we take on a biweekly basis. Doesn't matter what the business does. And then for our taxes, one of the things that we're trying to figure out is on this 15% for taxes, it's I have my set amount that we're going to take home, and then the taxes are on top of that. So even though our specific amount is one thing, that's what we always take home. So our taxes are paid by the company just like it's supposed to be.
Great. So the business is paying your taxes. That's perfect. Profit first. You're more profitable than ever, and it's growing. That's perfect. Profit first. You have a consistent salary, and your lifestyle is adjusted to that salary. Perfect. But now my last concern is the expenses. You said you grew faster, and then the expenses started getting crazy. Tell me about that.
We had we acquired a HOA, full maintenance. I mean, you're talking
What's an HOA?
125 homeowners association.
Oh, okay.
So 125 homes that we maintain on a weekly basis with mowing, trimming, blowing, and then you also have the mulch install, you have the shrub trimming, everything is included, and then we got snow plowing in the winter. So it's a huge contract. Well, what happened was we had to get a lot of equipment,
Oh.
So we had to, we spent a lot of money on snow removal equipment. Well, normally it snows like 3 or 4 times. It only snowed 1 time this year. So it didn't even, so that was a hard hit for us. But we also had to get, 2 more mowers that cost $10,000 each. And then you have the increased payroll of, acquiring good employees, because we don't, I feel like if you are working hard, you should not be at minimum wage or even close to it. So I pay my guys accordingly. And, our average education level in our company for a landscaping company is a bachelor's. That's the average education.
For your company, really?
For my company right now, we have one guy that has a master's in music entertainment. We have another guy that has his bachelor's in history. I'm just about ready to finish up my bachelor's in environmental science.
So hold on. You guys have a guy who has a master's in history. Does he go to someone's property?
Master's in entertainment.
Oh, I thought you said you have someone with a master's in history.
No, bachelor's in history.
A bachelor's. Oh, okay, so he's not as educated, but still, I could see him. Like, does he go to the property and say, back in 1772 on this property, George Washington got in a fist fight? I mean, does why these people are highly educated, include the bachelors. Highly educated. What, does it apply to what they're doing?
Oh, no. Yeah, absolutely. No. And part of the growth that we're talking about when we talk about our immutable laws is growth of the individual. So the one that has the master's in music entertainment, he used to play on a cruise ship, and so he's actually started his own business that he's working on outside of our company. But one of our values is you're either growing or dying. So I know that I've got about 1.5 to 2 years with this guy, and he knows that I'm supportive of him growing. So with that mutual understanding, he is one hell of a worker, and he knows that I am supporting him in everything that he's doing outside of it.
Okay. So that's pretty cool. So you know that your employees, this is an interim step for them, but it's also a growth opportunity. How's a guy that has I assume he's going to a music career of some sort, how's lawn care even relate to that? How are you supporting him?
It doesn't. It doesn't directly, but it's providing the means for him to start up his own company. And it's a nightlife type of job. I mean, he's trying to start a jazz club. So by me, and I've even told him, I was like, the first book you're reading is Profit First. And he's like, what? I was like,
Oh, no. What? He's educated. He should say, oh, of course.
no, I mean, and so, I want to encourage these guys, and that's, by doing that, you get better workers.
So you're really, you're an entrepreneurial incubator. Like you're teaching a guy how to run a lawn care business, which will translate to running a jazz business.
Sure. And one of the other things is that if I can't provide a growth place for them, then I'm going to encourage them to grow outside of the company. Mm-hmm. But ideally, I want them to stay with the company and grow with us, and we plan for that. I ask them on a regular basis, what do you want to do? And then I try to provide that growth within our company to keep them here.
What's your future plans for Chesterfield Lawn Services? Where are you going to take the business profitability-wise, and how are you going to do it? So
profitability-wise, I want to get to where we're at least at 10 to 12%. I want to hit.
Where are you now?
We're at 6%,
Okay.
5 or 6%, and that's.
Okay.
We've been getting to where we're almost down to the square footage of. And I know that you work with, and here's a shout out for Dirt Monkey University.
Yes.
I've looked with him. Yep. I've looked into some of the stuff that he has, and this winter I want to go through some of his university stuff, but I want to increase the profitability and the consistency of the profits so that we can expand from the maintenance side to the landscaping side, so that when they do ask, hey, can we put in this bush? We know exactly how much it's going to cost and how much profit we're going to make from putting in that bush.
Yeah.
And so it's getting down to the numbers of exactly how much it costs, and knowing that when I give them a price, it will be profitable.
And when do you think you're going to get to that 12 to 15% profitability?
I'm hoping by the end of next year.
By the end of next year.
Good.
Okay.
And,
we're going to hold you accountable to that. We got to rock and roll. Dereck, hey, there could be someone in Chesterfield, in Richmond that could use your services right now. How can they find out more about you?
Chesterlawn.com.
Chesterlawn.com. We'll have that in the show notes. You're on Facebook and Twitter. We'll have all that in the show notes too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, brother. Thanks for joining us today, Dereck.
Thanks,
Dereck.
All right, I got to hit, there we go. I just love
I love him.
Me too.
I love him. I love hearing someone that is looking at profitability and then reverse engineering the business around that. Mm-hmm. He's like, I want to hit 15%, and to do that, I need to do this, and he's figuring out the steps in reverse sequence. That's exactly. I guarantee he'll hit it.
Yep.
I guarantee he'll hit it. He was cool.
Was cool.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what else is cool.
What else?
My notes. I have tons of notes, and I have a funny joke I got to get to, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to build it right.
Will it be funny to us or only you?
No, it's well.
That's important.
I love that you cut me down every time. It keeps my ego in check. I think it'll be funny to you. It's a joke about jazz musicians versus rock musicians. Remind me to talk about it.
Okay.
Right. So we're gonna have that funny joke. Maybe we'll embed it in the partner section so people don't fast forward through that. But we're also gonna do a recap of what we learned.
Yes.
And then we're gonna do our goodbyes. So first, let's talk about our partners.
Yes. Fundera.
Give me 2 or 3 now. I'll insert the joke somewhere in there.
Oh, okay.
Fundera.
Fundera. Nextiva.
Well, no. Let me explain what they do.
Oh, well, okay.
Gotta explain it.
So explain Fundera.
Let me explain.
Okay.
So which is awfully close to splaying and splay. It's dangerous. Fundera is a one-stop shop for loan services. Now, listen, Dereck was saying, his business grew. He needed to buy his equipment. He secured the contract with that homeowners association, or HOA now, and he needed to buy equipment. He may not have the cash. Fundera will find loans for that. And Fundera is not the loan source. They shop it out and they come back and say, Dereck, you should go to so-and-so, or you can choose option, A, B, C, or D. And they'll find like 20 or 30 loans, and they do it within 24 hours typically. Oh. And then they educate you on which loan's the best option.
What about Fundbox?
Great. I'm happy you asked because that reminds me of a joke.
Yes.
So what's the difference between a jazz musician and a rock musician?
I don't know. Please tell us.
Okay. A rock musician plays 3 chords in front of millions of people. A jazz musician plays millions of chords in front of 3 people.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know, but it's the reality. Okay, that was the struggle. So now...
I'm laughing at how bad it is.
What? Are you kidding me? That was genius. Who's the next sponsor?
Fundbox.
Oh, Fundbox. Cash Flow Accelerator. Listen, if you're going to you got 3 guests coming to your jazz studio there.
Only.
You may need
Jazz Club?
Jazz Club. Yeah, first of all, you shouldn't call it Jazz Studio. You should call it Jazz Club. Tip number 1. Tip 2 is they may not pay you on time. Fundbox is a cash flow accelerator. They give you the money in advance of a customer paying. If your customers aren't paying quickly, Fundbox will.
What about Nextiva?
Voice over IP phone system. I think it's the best. We do have to upgrade our router, which I got at Walmart 4 years ago. And we have so many phones running through it that it's causing problems.
That's true.
And I called Nextiva and they said, I said, the phone's kind of like getting a little spotty at times. Like, tell us about the router you have. I'm like, it's it's a Walmart 1000. He goes, oh, what? He goes, where'd you get that? I'm like, Walmart. He goes, yeah, we're not spec'd for that. We're surprised any phone system could run over it. I'm like, well, we found a way to run like 25 phones over it. So it works pretty well. But now we want to get the 26th phone, we have to upgrade that router. But they're amazing.
Makes sense.
Voice over IP phone system, affordable, reliable, amazing features. We use it to record calls. You can do anything that the most advanced phone systems do all over the wire.
What about Receipt Bank?
That reminds me of a joke. No, Receipt Bank is a way to scan in your receipts right to your accounting system. So no longer do that big receipt box. If Dereck is out doing a job and he buys something specific for a client, maybe he's got to buy flowers or some other shrubbery, he can take a picture of his receipt, scan it in, and link it to the job specifically so he can see if he's profitable or not per job. That's all the power of Receipt Bank. It's amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. All right, what'd you learn today, somebody?
I'm just amazed at how calm Dereck is through everything. I mean, he talks about the abundance theory and having true faith in that, which I think is amazing and something that we all need to kind of remind ourselves that the work is always going to be there. You just have to find it. Listen to books versus music. I love that. I'm always saying I don't have enough time to read, and I'm like, I should just start listening to books.
Yeah.
No brainer.
Yeah.
And to keep a good rep with your customers, just be a good freaking person.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Be a good business owner.
You know why he's so calm? Is because he is an EOD, the explosive ordnance disposer guy.
Yeah.
Could you imagine he's a nervous wreck? Like all the time. Like, I have to mow lawns. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I would not want that guy handling explosives.
That's
I
true.
want a guy like him, like totally chill. What'd you get? What'd you learn? That's good. This is funny stuff. This is
hilarious.
You should be a comedian.
I got one more joke. All right, what do you got?
No, overall, I just applaud Dereck for having integrity every step of the way and having faith in himself and his ability to adapt as he goes along.
Yeah.
All around. I just love that he has stuck to the pumpkin plan, kind of finding his sweet spot, like he said, and sticking to it. And it's super hard. And I feel like he's doing it really effectively.
We're recording this at 1:00 in the afternoon. This is prime time for lawn maintenance.
Yeah.
And he's chill. He's on the phone. He's not, this is midweek. He's not out there doing it.
Yeah.
This is clearly a person that's devoting a portion of his time to work on his business. Yeah. I got to talk about Lauri Peterson a little bit because Lauri Peterson is a PFP who specifically works with lawn care service companies and helps them make more profitable. Here's what I learned. He's constantly learning. You guys mentioned that. Act like you want act like the person you want to become, he said. I love that.
Yeah, not who you are.
Exactly. He said, I'm reading leadership books because that's my weak spot. People ask me, Mike, what book should I read next? And I'm like, Profit First. No, don't read. I hate to say it, but don't read those books if that's not your problem.
Right.
What's the imminent weakness or challenge you're facing? Read that book. Yeah. So if you're not profitable, read Profit First. But if you have a leadership challenge, read a great leadership book. So I thought that was pretty amazing. Yeah. And the other thing, he didn't say these words, but this is what I interpreted. He said during the interview, he got some negative comments and they caused a distraction. I think one challenge this business have is they think that a few negative comments is representative of their entire business, and they respond to the absolute minority and they ignore the majority, and that's the problem. Right. You can't be distracted by the few negative naysayers who are having bad days. You got to stay on course. Now, if a lot of people are having bad times, then you got to fix that. And I have a new job for you. I do need you as a guard for me.
Okay.
A voice guard. I say some stupid things. I'm like, you got to send me that dollar bill picture. And you're like, no, you already sent it. I'm like, don't be an idiot. Like, I need you guarding me. So before I say anything, I'll just do a hand wave. And then you got to think what I'm about to say because you basically know it'll be something stupid.
So you have to read his
and
mind.
You're like, just do
so
the
I'll
kill
just figure
signal.
out how to be telepathic and then...
You don't even have to. Just do every time do the kill signal. Just go, don't talk. And basically, I'll be protected. So be my voice guard.
You know what else I liked? Just real quick, another thing that he said was to invest in the employees that you know are keepers.
Yeah.
He knows that, his business, they may not stick around forever, but he is, even though it may not be beneficial to him, he is making maneuvers so that they're comfortable and they want to stay as long as possible, which is
no
amazing.
question about it. And he's hiring professionals. We have a lawn care guy comes by and, I don't know if he's hiring professionals like this because of how they act. Smoking cigarettes, they throw it on the ground, the prop they're maintaining. And I don't think they're even trying to be disrespectful or they're just not thinking at a professional level.
Right.
They're not thinking if this was their business, what would they want done?
Right.
And that's what he's doing. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a grunter.
He is a grunter. I hope you recorded it. You can play it
I know.
for every episode.
I did.
So we want to know what you learned. Go to ProfitFirstPodcast.com or iTunes or Stitcher, wherever you're listening to us. I want to know what your takeaway was.
And here's the thing I want to know. Mm-hmm. Why don't you have a Profit First professional already guiding you?
Why?
Yeah, why? Kim.
Yeah.
You need a Profit First professional.
Like Lauri Peterson.
Like Lauri Peterson. Exactly. Lauri Peterson's a great example. So Lauri Peterson not only does bookkeeping services for businesses, which you need a bookkeeper anyway, she's certified at the mastery level of Profit First, meaning she's one of the elite providers of Profit First, and she specialized in lawn care service companies. So she knows the equipment they need. She knows the way they approach the business. She knows the problems they're going to face before they have the problems. But we have, now we're talking hundreds of people as we're growing here that specialize in different verticals. We don't hook you up with, we have someone in Chester, they're good. We say, we got the world's best provider in Profit First for lawn care service. Her name's Lauri Peterson. Let's make an introduction. We can find that person for you no matter what industry you're in.
Yeah.
You take the first step, whatever that is. You take the first step, though. Go to ProfitFirstProfessionals.com, click on the Find button, fill out the form. We'll make an introduction, and you're off to races. Again, go to ProfitFirstProfessionals.com, fill out the form. After you click on Find a Profit First Professional, and we'll hook you up. That's all I got.
Kaboom.
Why don't you say stuff like that? That's so funny, but you just give me the visual. She's made fun of me, but...
Cute.
Okay. All right. Let's get out of here, my friends.
Okay.
Bye,
See you later.
everybody.